The United States Senate has gone 770 days without passing a budget. And this week, Austin Goolsbee, the senior economic advisor to the president, announced he would be resigning his post this summer. The president's first director of the Office of Management and Budget, Peter Orszag, left in July of last year. Christina Roma, the president's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, left last September. Larry Summers, the former president at Harvard, former director of the National Economic Council for the president, left last December after less than 2 years. As a result of the failed stimulus and other debt that we've accrued, we're in much deeper debt, but Americans know it has not made them better off. In fact, increased debt has further eroded the economic confidence that's necessary for a spirited recovery and has made our situation worse. But perhaps most alarming of all, as pointed out in the June 4th lead editorial by Ellen Abelson in Barron's, is that actual private sector employment today is now 2% below where it stood 10 years ago. 2% fewer people are working today than were working 10 years ago. He cited Philippa Dunn and Doug Henwood of the Lisio report. Mr. Abelson notes, quote, "Job losses over a 10-year period is unprecedented since the advent of something resembling reliable tallies begun in 1890. Meanwhile, economists are warning that if we don't change our debt trajectory, and soon, our debt could stifle the very economic recovery that is moving far too slow." This is the important point, and it goes right to the heart of the argument that we've got to artificially stimulate this economy by borrowing money from our children so we can spend it today, and that this is going to make us more healthy. A study by Carmen Reinhart and Ken Rogoff titled "Growth in a Time of Debt," Growth in a Time of Debt, in the American Economy Review of 2010 shows that economic growth is 1% lower on average in countries with gross debt above 90% of GDP. Stephen Roach, chairman at Morgan-Stanley and lecturer at Yale, was recently asked on CNBC, yesterday I believe, about what is happening with the economy, why the disappointing results, and this is what Mr. Roach said, a professional economist and player in the world financial markets. "I come down on it as Ken Rogoff and Carmen Reinhart do in their analysis of post-crisis economies. This is the way it is. When you have such a massive buildup of debt pre-crisis, when you hammer the consumers the way we did in this crisis, the economy is going to sputter." Close quote. So America's debt stands now at 95% of GDP. It is set to exceed the entire economy by the end of this year, and the President's own Treasury Secretary and widely respected economists are saying this could have a negative impact on the economy and jobs. It could cause a 1% decrease in economic growth, according to Rogoff and Reinhart. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, a 1% decrease in growth could cost about 1 million jobs. Not 54,000, 1 million. So if we had less debt, instead of an anemic 1.8% growth the first quarter, as we come out of this recession, we should be seeing more than that. We would have probably had 2.8% growth. So the failure of this body to produce a spending plan to tackle our nation's debt only creates more uncertainty in the economy. Doubt and fear are driving away jobs, stifling growth and investment. That is a fact. But in the long run, and that's what we must focus on, the long run, sound principles, common sense, spending restraint, less regulation, more commitment to the free markets will, if allowed, lift us out of this malaise in which we find ourselves. To put America back to work, the Senate needs to get back to work.